let's do this weekend's football preview with a little bit of what we saw last week and what I'm liking in some early cues. I mean, week 3 of the NFL season. I still think it's pretty early to jump to conclusions. I don't like doing a lot of fantasy moves in the first couple weeks of the season because, let's be honest, especially with the extra week added now, that first season teams treat as a preseason game. So I don't like taking really anything from week 1. I think you see a lot of fluky stuff. I think you see a lot of weird stuff. Week 2, I mean, no excuses, right? Like, you're in it now that it is go time. So with that, and helping map out your NFL weekend, Browns Steelers, no. That's the Thursday night game, so we will watch. Cleveland is a 4.5-point favorite. The Steelers right now don't really have offense or defense. It's Trubisky. The offense has been flat. Without TJ Watt, I don't think they recorded a sack last week. The Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they lost to the Pats. They go into Cleveland, who Cleveland should be 2-0, right? Brissett is doing his thing. Nick Chubb has been one of, if not the best running back in football early on with Jacoby Brissett as his quarterback. The Browns' defense is still really good, especially their D-line. Cleveland minus 4.5. The over-under in this game is 38.5, people. I mean, maybe bet for a special teams touchdown or something, because that's probably what's going to change this game. Expect the Brownies. I'll say Brownies even roll. If I had to take that 4.5, I would. Although Mike Tomlin, he always finds a way. But I think the Browns, right now the Browns have half an offense. They can rush it. Amari Cooper got a touchdown last week.
Big game.
And their D-line can dominate, be really good. Where the Steelers, they're like nada right now. So that's our Thursday night. Some AFC North
rivalry stuff.
Football. Chris Rose, hard hitting. Maybe we get some Mason Rudolph, Myles Garrett flashbacks. So let's see how our Sunday looks, people. Texans, Bears. No. The 0-1-1 Texans versus the 1-1 Bears. That's a minus 2.5 spread. That's a 40.5 over under.
There's not even a lot of fantasy implications there.
I'm good. No. I'll just say no. Raiders, Titans. 2 0-2 teams.
That did not think they'd be 0-2.
2 playoff teams last year. Remember, the Raiders snuck in. Titans. And as we dissect that division, we find the more and more stink is on it. It's in Nashville. One of these teams will be 0-3. I bet this is a fantastic game. I think you're going to have gash plays everywhere. Over under 45.5. I think I'd take the over on that. I wouldn't be surprised if King Henry goes nuts. I wouldn't be surprised if Devontae goes nuts. This has all the writings. 2 desperate teams. You're opening up the playbook. You're letting it eat. Because whichever one of these teams goes 0-3, your season... Except the Titans, because that division does suck. So if they figure it out, they could turn it around. If you're the Raiders, and the Raiders are a 2-point favorite, which I don't know about all that. That's going to be a good watch, I think. Chiefs, Colts. Mahomes and the Chiefs, who have been rolling, looking dominant, face the Colts, who have looked aghast. I don't know if that's the right word, but some creative word for bad and like lifeless. What's aghast mean? Aghast. Is it a word? Filled with horror or shock. It's not perfect. It's nowhere near perfect.
Not imperfect, though.
Close to imperfect. It's in Indianapolis. I could see this being closer than you'd like. You've got a team in the Chiefs that are rolling and tasting themselves. It's in Indy. This team has real expectations. Matt Ryan doesn't look good, but he was new to the team. Feed Jonathan Taylor. Like, there's your formula. I mean, Jonathan Taylor last week, let me make sure I'm getting this right. He had 9 rushes. And by the way, he was getting 6 yards a rush. Yeah. 121-yard rush there. But feed that man. 2 road games, whatever. Kansas City 6.5 favorites. I wouldn't touch that with anything. Colts, pound the rock. Use Jonathan Taylor. Set up a play action for Matt Ryan. And I think they will. They have to. That stadium can get loud. That being said, I wouldn't touch it with a knife, and I would not bet against the Chiefs. Touch it with a knife? Bills, Dolphins. How are your 2-0 AFC East teams? Everyone's going to be talking about this one. The sexy Dolphins, who I am not into, face the Buffalo Bills, who have been dominant. You guys know I'm currently a Dolphins hater, which I don't like. Like, I like Tyreek Hill. I like the coach.
You reserve the right to change your mind.
I think the coach is creative, and I think Miami has talented, skilled people. I'm not a Tua guy. I don't think they should have won last week. I think there was some fluky stuff. There was some good stuff by Tua. It shouldn't all be shots fired. And I don't know where Tua lands. Do I think Tua could be like a middle-of-the-pack quarterback? Yeah. Why not, right? Especially with a good coach and the talent that's now around him. I am not a Tua believer. I'm interested to see that stadium environment, like hype around a Dolphins team. That doesn't happen a ton.
In a little bit.
Tua broke some like Dan Marino records last game, which, you know, he's still the religion down there. I think the Bills are an absolute factory. They have now beaten the Rams 31-10 and the Titans 41-7. I would yam the Bills this weekend. Hey, Dolphins, prove me wrong and make me have to talk the other way. I just think the Bills are a force. And I think the Dolphins just hit a frog on my desk. I think the Dolphins being 2-0 has the Bills light switch on. Motivation is a thing in sports that doesn't get talked about a lot. If the Bills had rolled their first 2 games and they were playing a 1-1 Miami team, they got beat by Baltimore by the 2 touchdowns they were up, I think this would be more of a game because I think motivation matters. The Dolphins are going to come out with their hair on fire, and maybe their coach wins me over full blown, and they have some creative stuff, and they outthink and outcoach the Bills. I remember Sean McDermott getting outcoached in that New England win game last year, and I was like, I hate this dude. Bills, big. Vikings, Dolphins. I don't know. You tell me. The Vikings got rolled up on the Eagles. Their coaches didn't make any adjustments. The Eagles receivers, they were doing a great job on the broadcast. They were getting a free release, and they were open every time. They were so open. And it was like, Vikings, how can you not try something different? So is that stubbornness? Is it not having something to go to? I don't know. The Lions, meanwhile, are kind of becoming America's darling. Hard Knocks, Dan Campbell, their games are electric. This should probably be a shootout. Another high over-under, 52.5, higher than Bills Dolphins. And think about what people have seen from those 2 offenses. I don't know what you do with it. I wish I believed in the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, if you watch that, but it seems like he always bounces back, and there is a game plan, and it's in Minnesota. And by the way, your game plan should be Dalvin Cook. And I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Jefferson, again, no hot takes here, people. He had a down week last week. A lot of the stories was he got shut down by big play Slay. Motivation. Lions defense, I still don't think is there. This should be another run and gun shootout. I wish I had more belief in the Lions. I hope I do, but I don't. That would be a massive step for them. Ravens, Patriots. I think you guys know where I stand, and it sounds cop-out-ish. I think the Ravens thought they had a blowout victory. They had a couple mistakes. They turned off the gears, and they end up losing a game that I don't think they should have lost. The Patriots are the definition of mid. They have a Hall of Fame coach and a roster of bleh. Baltimore is a 3-point favorite in New England. It's New England's first home game. The place should be rocking. A nice weather day at Foxborough, Gillette. That doesn't happen a lot. Ravens -3, easy for me. Motivation, they should have had a win last week. Lamar looks so good. The only thing is the Ravens defense has a chance of actually being bad, which the Ravens, just their history, you almost don't think they can do that. But they could be bad. But still, even if they're bad, the Patriots offense doesn't have guys to take advantage of that. They don't have the dudes to make the plays. Give me Ravens. Bengals, Jets in this 1 p.m. Wow, packed 1 p.m. Bengals, Jets might be watchable. Cincinnati's 0-2. For them to go 0-3 against the Jets, a team that should be 0-2. Cincinnati's a 5-point favorite. Flacco. I don't know. I don't know. Circle that. I'll give you nothing. And if someone's got something for you, the Bengals, O-line, and Joe Burrow keeps getting killed. If the Jets can get the juice in the stadium rocking, like Jets and Giants fans are so thirsty to have any sort of hope for their football season, that if they can get a couple big defensive plays early and hit, the Jets have some talented wideouts now on the outside. I don't know. I wouldn't believe in betting Cincy -5. Could they obviously do it? Yeah, they found something at the end of last game. But man, the Bengals have been, it feels like a Super Bowl hangover. Burrow did miss all of the preseason, so maybe he's tuning in, dialing up, and this will be the Bengals turn it on. But right now, they do not have the juice. I'd stay away from Bengals -5. Commanders, Eagles. Eagles, how good did they look? We haven't talked since then. They dominated Jalen Hurts, who someone I wasn't high on ceiling-wise. I talked about how I felt like he racked up a lot of end-of-game stats that were just, I don't know, whatever. Like, it felt like the close games they made close were Their roster is uber talented. Their lines are dominant. Their run game is good. And by the way, Jalen Hurts, something that cannot be measured, and because we just don't know how, he gets better and better. Ever since his freshman year at Alabama, he continues to just improve. And not a lot of athletes do that. So I don't know if it's work ethic. I don't know if it's focus. I don't know if it's an intangible that can't be seen or known. But Jalen Hurts is outworking people and getting better. That 600 squat number, if you're a bad quarterback, becomes embarrassing because it's like, why? But when you pair it with someone who's constantly getting better, it's kind of like, okay, maybe this dude is special. And I don't know where special lands with him. He was throwing the ball well. He was running the ball well. And the Eagles, they were chanting, "Let's go Phillies" at Bryce Harper. That was cool. James Harden in the house. Good time to be in Philly, kind of. Can you say that a lot? More importantly, I think the Commanders stink. Philly on the road, -6.5 favorite. That's a lot of points, and they could be having a hangover after looking as good as you'll see a team look. Wouldn't touch it, but the Eagles right now, all the preseason hype that I almost started to fade, I'm buying into. I mean, they looked very, very real. And Hurts, who could have been their team weakness, now looks like a strength, man. I didn't think he could win me over. A couple more of those, and I will be all in. All in. That's how good he looked. Commanders, got nothing for you. Panthers, Saints, not really. Not really. In Carolina, 0-2 Panthers. See if Baker can do it. Jameis and the Saints, if they want to be kind of a fringe playoff team this year, this is kind of one you got to have. They're 1-1. No thanks. So in the 1 p.m. slate, Bills, Dolphins, a lot of people going to be circling that one. Raiders, Titans feels like your red zone game of the weekend. And then Lions, Vikings has a potential to be awesome.
Fantasy implications.
We'll see if Chiefs, Colts. If there's ever a time to show anything, you gotta go now, man. 1-1, yuck. The 4 p.m. slate, Jaguars, Chargers. Let's find out. Let's find out how healthy Justin Herbert is. His ribs got banged up. Like barely move banged up. Let's see if there's any lasting effects of that or if the Jaguars can get to him and make more lasting effects of that. Chargers are a touchdown favorite at home. That kind of makes sense. The Jaguars, their offense has started to go a little bit. Robinson, the running back, has looked good. Kirk has looked solid. They beat the Colts 24-0. Again, what does that mean? Are the Colts sucky? Whoa, Jake.
Oh,
yikes.
weekend plans.
Or have the Jaguars half found something offensively and defensively to shut out any NFL team, especially a team with a guy regarded as the best running back? You know, I know they changed the whole course of that game with how they played, and we don't know how much the Colts sting, but a shutout. Shutout's a shutout. I think we're going to find out a lot about the Jaguars this week. If they can go on the road and give this Chargers team that's loaded with talent a game, that would mean something to me. Because like I told you guys, I'm buying Trevor Lawrence stock. I think the Jaguars as a team, everyone's looking at differently. Chargers at home, as long as Herbert's healthy, you gotta win that game. The way Herbert looked, man, no thanks. I want to find out what the Jaguars are made of, and this weekend should tell us that. Rams, Cardinals. Cardinals take one out of the jaws of life. When Kyler's good, it's beautiful. He's a short king. I believe in that. I do believe he breaks down later in the season. Rams. This is going to be, I think we're going to find out who they are. If they want to get back to being your kind of Super Bowl scary Rams, I think with where the Cardinals are at, this is a game that they should step on the throat a little bit. They're 3.5-point favorites on the road. That kind of feels right. And Cardinals, I don't know. You know, you had the amazing comeback last week. The Raiders helped you out with that. Kyler still without Hopkins. Feels like a different player. He made a couple video game plays last week that maybe he's about to get hot and cook. I think we're going to find out who the Rams are this week for this season. If they can have a nice win, I think we need to talk about them again being a scary team. Cardinals, they're just a team you're not going to be able to buy in on until they make it happen. They're like the Blue Jays of the NFL. Like, you love Kyler, you love some of the talent, they have fun, it's cool, but result-wise, I don't know. Nothing yet. Falcons, Seahawks, no! Mariota, Geno? What?
What year is it?
No. Just no. As hard of a no as I can give you. The final 425 game, which this is the one people are going to be talking about all week. Packers, Bucks. Brady, Rodgers. Bucks are a 1.5-point favorite at home. Packers did their classic week one suck. Let's dominate the Bears. Buccaneers, this is a team that is supposed to be flawed, or we were told before this season that their O-line, there's going to be struggles there. Brady came in looking thin and having off-the-field trouble, which you don't think of with Tom Brady. The Packers are the Packers. They're Rodgers, LaFleur. They win games. It's all they've done. Doesn't really matter who Rodgers is throwing to. That's why they invest more into their defense, because they think they can do whatever offensively. It's worked in the regular seasons. The Bucs are supposed to have an Achilles heel O-line. We haven't seen that yet. This game, I mean, Tom and Rodgers, like the old men, I mean, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. These old bags staring at each other. Low-key hating each other. Think about who these guys are. Like, come on. Rodgers hates Tom Brady. Rodgers hates Tom Brady. Like, that's just a fact. Like, I know there's QBs and mutual respect, and I love what that guy does, and no, man. That's the guy that everyone talks about not being you. It's going to be must watch. Do not bet it. Over under 42 feels a little low for Rodgers. Brady, come on. We want a good game. It's going to be.
Both offenses haven't had their click game yet.
I think
Want it.
I think they will. Ooh, it's supposed to be hot. 89. Ew.
Ball should be zipping.
Sunday night football, my Broncos host the 49ers. The talented roster of the 49ers, talented roster of the Broncos. I think Niners all around have the leg up, except supposedly a quarterback. My guy, Russell Wilson, he hasn't fully clicked. They survived last week. Some of the numbers are disgusting. They survived last week versus the Texans. Nathaniel Hackett, I will say it again. In theory, the coaching can only get better. Let's see how much my guy has learned. Going up against Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy G. The Niners are back to being Jimmy G's team, and we know what that means. They're going to pound the ball. They're going to be creative in how they get the ball to their talent. Will George Kittle make his debut this week? Because that changes who the Niners are. My guy Debo, this game is in Mile High. If the Broncos lose this game, I don't want to say I'm out on them because that's obnoxious. It's week 3. But how about this? I need to see Hackett and the Broncos look like a good football team. Like if Debo beats you and the Niners play a good game, Jimmy G doesn't turn it over and they're converting on third downs and they're making plays and Shanahan draws something up and Russ gives them a chance, they're competing, but they do lose. That's, I'm already talking myself into that. The Niners are minus 1.5 point favorites in Mile High. Hopefully this could be a signature win for them to get going because like you guys know on here, their end of the season is brutal that they got to get it going.
Get those wins in the bank.
If not now, you're heading to Las Vegas next week. You're hosting the Colts, which feels lesser than it should, at Chargers, and then you have a Jets, Jaguars, Titans, but 2 of those are on the road. So I don't know, at a certain point, you just need to start accumulating wins before you play the Chiefs, Cardinals, Rams, Chargers, your last 5 games. The Ravens are the 6th game. You have to start winning, so that's why I'm being a little dramatic about this. But if I'm being also dramatic about this, I think I'm probably going to bet the Niners to win. It's a little bit of a sadness bet. If the Broncos win, I'll be okay about losing the bet. If they lose, I'm going to say, well, yeah, there's a better coach on the other team and a better team on the other team. So I'm scared for this Sunday night one. You obviously know I'll be watching. Monday night, Cowboys G-Men. We'll be able to talk about that a little bit on Monday. Man, Giants with a chance to go 3-0. How exciting is that? So that's your football weekend. That 4 p.m. slate, you got to see Rodgers Brady. It's one of those we don't know how many more times we're going to get it. I will be watching Sunday night. Kind of. Yeah, Judge home run race.
Be at the game.
Just putting that together. So we will see. As for now, on Wake and Jake, I'll give a quick comment of the day. Bakers, we're up to 7K. 7K subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for adjusting to us as we adjust to this new format. My guy Tom Ace out there puffing his chest as a Jets fan after basically losing that game. Good for you, man. Enjoy it. How about CJ Cable? Went to high school with James Robinson. We just mentioned him, the running back on the Jaguars. Generational high school football player, I'd have to imagine. 4th in career rushing touchdowns past Derrick Henry. So happy for what he's done as an undrafted free agent. Urban did not like using him at all last year, but hoping he gets more playing time this year. He already is. Merlino, he's on the Tua train. He's going to be the breakout star. He's got a chance, man. Waddle and Hill are nasty. I love their coach. Sneaky love him. I guess in my head, I don't think it's real. But, I mean, if I'm giving Shanahan credit, he was Shanahan's right-hand man. And everyone loves this cat. Everyone loves him. So I guess I might have to come down from that. And Rogan Hale said it almost feels like some of these NFL defenses are cooked after 3 quarters. Yeah, it's either that or when you take the brakes off defensively, guys just light it up. Looks a little too easy. So, thank you guys for baking the algorithm. If you don't know what that means, it's commenting, reviewing, liking, sharing. I think no bros today, BBD. I kind of got a roll. But this whole episode was also brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp, if you don't know, they will get you in touch with a therapist to get your mental health right. More athletes are speaking out about the importance of mental health. More everyone are speaking about the aspects of mental health because your well-being and your mental well-being especially, it affects everything. It affects your mood. It affects your health, your body, like physically. Your mental will change that. And a therapy is the best way to stay in peak mental shape. So it's convenient, accessible, affordable, entirely online with BetterHelp, and they will get you matched with a therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time. When you're ready to feel at the top of your mental health game, therapy will get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/Jake today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/Jake. Beebs, I think we got to send them. I have to run. Thank you, everyone. You guys are the best. We will be back on Monday. Podcast app, you won't be feeling any changes soon. YouTube, thank you for adjusting to the changes. And we might even be tinkering more. So I don't know. Watch everything on John Boy Media. A lot of gaming. A lot of gaming.
Gaming.
A lot of gaming.
Weekly Dom's out.
Love the weekly Dom.
New talking baseball this morning. T.Y. tonight. All of it.
Jay sucks.
I'm running to the girls' room.